MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The multiverse is real. Movies and TV shows are entangled, and we're talking about the first animated series, the 28th title in the MCU. Talking about What If, a story where the watcher gives you 25-minute episodes, alternate versions of characters you know. Our first two have been kind of a mixed bag. Episode 1, Peggy Carter, what if she became the first super soldier? Episode 2, miles better, what if T'Challa became Star-Lord? And I'm going to say it, guys, the best one yet. What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? If I can get it out. 34 minutes, Nick Fury struggles to launch the Avengers when candidates are targeted by a serial killer. So much fun, really cool. You're going to hear some familiar voices. We're going to break open the story, talk all about it. And I want to hear how you guys felt about this one, especially, when you compare it to the other two. Giggler, let's start with you. How'd this one go for you? Episode 3 of What If?
Loved it. Probably about as much as the last one.
Of the T'Challa?
I really liked this felt like just like a great throwback, just to like see
and
this time period back. I mean, when did Avengers even come out? Like
2012.
12? Yeah, 10 years ago, just about. So it was a nice little throwback to see
familiar faces,
all these characters together again, even though most of them died. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert for sure. What if? We're gonna get into it, break it wide open. And PC Mike, you want to tell the fans?
Yeah, had to work, people.
What if Mike didn't watch it and we get to spoil everything for him right on camera?
My guys are going to explain it to me, and I'm just going to close my eyes and visualize like I'm watching.
You're just going to picture art?
Yeah. Stills.
All right, we'll tell you all about it. Let's break it open and talk about the story. So,
and in fairness, this came out at 3 a.m. or something today.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're recording on the same day. I just want to get that out there.
And people don't realize we do record essentially right after work.
Yeah.
We have about an hour break, and then we get in here and break it down. So no worries. You got to be like me and watch it on your lunch break. Like, I mean, you're at your phone.
Shh. Quiet. What if song?
Don't you eat in the cafeteria?
No.
Oh, man, I'd be eating in the cafeteria. I'd be eating the cafeteria lunch.
COVID cafeteria?
Oh, is that what they call it?
Well, I just did.
Yeah.
A big room full of people?
Yeah. I'm going to hang out in my corner.
I bet you got a cool classroom, actually.
I'll take a video and I'll send it to you guys one day.
Please do.
Not the listeners. That's creepy, but
yeah. All right.
Logan and Andy, I'll show you.
Well, you missed it. We'll tell you about it. Don't worry, Mike. We'll fill you in. Episode 3, What If? Yeah, let's just get into the story. Spoiler alert, we're giving it to you. Again, what's the premise? The Watcher up in space is telling you about the prism of time and all the different options. And what happens here, basically, you get dropped into Nick Fury and Natasha Romanoff in a car right around the time of Iron Man 2, if you're familiar. And the coolest part, right off the bat, Robert Downey Jr., he's in this. That's his voice. Mike, this is where I'll need your help on the PC. Samuel L. Jackson, that's him. And I'll tell you this, it was not Scarlett Johansson playing Natasha Romanoff. I could just tell.
Definitely not.
And if you have a name, yeah, he's looking. While you're doing that, you might remember this part from Iron Man 2 when Tony has that bad virus in his body from the shrapnel. It's like poison in him, and they give him a shot to save him. Well, this time, the shot kills him.
Have to watch him die again.
Yeah, and he didn't even say, like, I am Iron Man. He just goes, falls to the ground. First, 2 minutes of the episode?
It was. I was so sad, even though it was a comic. But
you didn't even get to see, like, the Iron Man suit, like, fly or anything. He's just in it. He's just in it, walking around with his head out. Did you find a name?
Lake Bell.
Lake Bell. And I mean,
Lake Bell is one of those faces that you've seen, but you don't know who she is.
Do you think that Scarlett Johansson, this is why she sued Disney?
No, I don't know.
I don't think
she's
so.
not in it. I mean, they recorded this 2 years ago, essentially, probably. They've been sitting on it for a long time. It's an animated series. Why didn't they get her in there? Same as Batista.
And then Lake Bell is currently the voice of Poison Ivy in the HBO series, Max series, Harley Quinn.
I've heard good things about that Harley Quinn show.
I haven't.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but
never seen it.
I really have. I've heard adults telling me it's good. But anyway, we're in MCU right now. So yeah, he dies. They don't know why. They arrest Natasha Romanoff. This is right when Nick Fury is trying to put together the Avengers Initiative. And this episode basically takes place over a 4-day period. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They do this is Monday. Iron Man dies. And Friday. Tuesday. Who's next? Oh, the story of Mjolnir. And who else do we get in this thing? We get, obviously this is Thor.
Hawkeye.
Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner. That's Jeremy Renner. Phil Coulson is back.
Yes, he's back. That made me so happy.
Clark Gregg.
Steph-
Clark
Clark
Gregg.
Gregg.
Gag.
Two first names.
Best part was Steph goes, "That nerd guy's back."
Oh, and
it's like, wait, who?
and he's he's still
Coulson. Duh.
and he's still fanboying out about Captain America.
He is.
Loving it. His password for the computer is #Steve.
I love Steve.
Yeah, I love Steve. Was that Chris Hemsworth? It was.
I believe
Nice.
so.
He didn't have many lines. Because
Well, I mean,
you know
Robert Downey
why?
Jr. had like 2 lines.
And then he's gone.
Then
Yeah.
he's dead.
Robert Downey Jr. did not do the voice.
It wasn't him.
Mick Wingert.
Wow. I thought it was him for sure.
Oh man, I feel dumb. I thought that was confirmed.
Scarlett
way back when.
Johansson didn't do it. Robert Downey Jr. did not. Liv Tyler didn't do this.
Liv Tyler. Who'd she play?
Betty Ross.
Oh, yeah, that definitely wasn't her. Well, hold on, let's go through it. So you got Thor first. This is the big scene from the Thor movie where he tries to lift Mjolnir and he doesn't. But before he even gets to grab the thing, Clint accidentally, like when a lightning bolt goes off, shoots an arrow right into his heart. Thor's dead. Iron Man's dead. Thor's dead. That's Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, who's next? Bruce Banner, I believe.
Oh, what the hell?
This is insane.
One of the most crazy scenes I've seen, animation or not, honestly.
Well, yeah, from beginning to end. But let's talk about some cool stuff they did. They very much acknowledge the Incredible Hulk in this movie, like the movie. They very much do. Even though it's Mark Ruffalo, it was him.
It was weird.
He was in the credits, and then his Betty Ross, Thunderbolt Ross's daughter. You might remember the scene when Edward Norton is at the university, and there's a big fight scene. He turns into Hulk. That basically happens in this movie again. It's the same university. Like they drew it exactly the same.
Yep.
And I was like, this is like straight from the movie. That's cool. But it's Mark Ruffalo. So Edward Norton's just nowhere. He's with
It's so weird.
he's with the daughter. The daughter's helping Black Widow to try to figure out how she accidentally killed Tony Stark. All the meanwhile, simultaneously, Loki shows up in New Mexico. And he's basically trying to challenge S.H.I.E.L.D. and the world because he's like, hey, we found out you killed my brother. He's there with Asgardians. He's not there with the Shatari army like he was in Avengers. He's there with Asgardians. And he's like, somebody killed my brother. And that's, if you're wondering, it was Tom Hiddleston. Had to be.
Much more diplomatic this time around.
Yeah, he was. He was like more willing to talk. He hadn't quite gotten to where he was at the end of Thor. He was just still kind of just a mischievous god. So he's negotiating with Nick Fury. The whole thing is, listen, we didn't kill your brother. Help us figure out who did. Back at the university, Incredible Hulk, he hulks out, and he's fighting the soldiers just like he did in that
Thunderbolt
movie.
too. Thunderbolt Ross, he was fighting. Right?
And Thunderbolt, he had a gun like to him and all
Yeah.
that. And out of nowhere, like no explanation, he just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and his shoulders start. And you're like, what the? And he explodes. Hulk's dead.
He literally just turned to dust. Like he looked
Goo.
exactly like that.
Goo. Look behind Mike.
Look at that thing. It's like a mixture of both of those.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's just like Let's look.
That's some
It's
strong
what
ass
it's
tape.
Yeah, Hulk. That's pretty much what happened in the show, except he just explodes. He's dead. Betty Ross, she's like, no! Oh, and then Thursday, who's next? Actually, I think it might have happened the same day he
Black
killed
Widow?
Thor. Well, no.
Oops.
Hawkeye.
Oh yeah.
And he's in the office, and he dies. Nick Fury calls Natasha, and he goes, Barton's dead. And, I mean, this relationship of these two, I mean, we've seen it all play out, and we know how close they are. She basically takes a beat, like 20 seconds. She's like, who do I kill?
Yeah, and there's a scene where she walks up and Hulk and Betty Ross were together. And I was like, this is a strange, unbeknownst to them, triangle.
Oh, like a love triangle.
Yeah.
It was cool to see like Mark Ruffalo with that character, even though it wasn't Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a bummer. But
Got to redo his movie he missed.
yeah, right. He's like, look, I'm finally in it. All right, so then all the Avengers essentially are dead. Nick Fury has like 24 hours to figure out how to get whoever's doing this and basically get it back to Loki, or Loki's going to take over the whole world, he says. And Black Widow's on a computer. That's when we find out the funny password from Phil Coulson. and she discovers something about somebody named Hope. And if you're familiar with the movies and you know the MCU, you already know where we're going with this. Black Widow starts getting her ass kicked and then gets killed. I mean, right there in the lab. She's gone. Nick Fury is essentially the only one left. Phil Coulson's like, what are you going to do? He said, sometimes you got to choose, either dance with the devil or make a deal with God or something like that. And he walks and you don't know exactly what happens, but then he discovers Hope. That's right. Black Widow said Hope. And you're, of course, thinking of Hope Van Dyne.
Dyne.
Which I guess she didn't take her dad's name, Pym.
Yeah, I looked that up, and I guess
because she was on the outs with her dad like her whole life because of how it happened with her mom, and she was like mad.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah. So she just didn't take his name. She just changed her name.
So Nick Fury, what's he do? He goes to her grave. Hope's dead. Turns out she died being an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is like the big difference. This is what happened. This is what caused the whole what if. She is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That didn't happen in the first reality, the reality we know. And who comes out of the shadows in like kind of a hybrid Ant-Man, what's the Yellow Jacket?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a hybrid.
Dark Yellow Jacket.
Dark yellow. Hank Pym, just crazy. Crazy murderer. He's the one that's been behind all this.
Was that Michael Douglas?
That was Michael Douglas.
Okay.
That was him.
It was Michael Douglas.
We need to get that button. You guys do it so good, I don't need one.
Okay.
And it's him. He tells Nick Fury, he's like, you got my daughter killed. She came in, she was an agent, and he's like, that's why you're doing this? Like you killed Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Thor? And then he's like, yeah. And essentially he tries to fight Nick Fury. Oh, we get flashbacks though to all the kills. So this is the best, right? So first he's a little tiny thing. He was in Black Widow's syringe, and he just like
yes.
Then you get the Hulk. I almost want to save that one. You get All right, so Thor. Whenever Clint Barton had the arrow like this in the Thor movie, well, in this reality, Hank Pym shrunk down and just like flicked his thumb, and he let go of the arrow and shot.
But that killed Thor?
That killed Thor because Thor doesn't have his powers yet. It's at that point of his lineage. How's he kill? Oh, Black Widow. We already know. Just beat the hell out of her. Mm-hmm. And
Hulk.
Clint Barton, I guess he just went in there and killed him because he was like being contained.
Yeah.
But Hulk, this is the coolest one. We get the shrinking down. He goes inside of the Hulk, all the way inside. To here, Mike. And he takes one of his discs. And if you're familiar with Ant-Man, Pym particle powers, there's usually 2 discs. One disc, if you throw it, it shrinks the thing. But the other one, if you throw it and it hits it, it makes the thing exponentially like bigger. And he throws it at the Hulk's heart. And the heart grows and kills him. And that was the tie back to the Facebook group. That's why I said they could have gone that route with Thanos, even though we know all you needed was a Star-Lord T'Challa to go talk to him.
Maybe Thanos doesn't have a booty hole.
Yeah, but I think
how do we know?
You go in the mouth, the nose.
Oh, you're right.
You can go in any orifice. Okay,
you're right. Sorry, I didn't remember my
Ant-Man
science.
Did you forget about that's just basic anatomy. Okay, so he kills everybody, and then Hulk. What happened is Nick Fury teamed up with Loki, and basically beats Michael Douglas. They arrest him, and Loki decides at the last minute, like, well, you guys don't even have any heroes. What's he do? He takes over the whole planet in one day, and he's like the new world leader.
Nobody even barely died.
It was a good way to do it. It was like, a lot less. But Nick Fury and Phil Coulson, they're like, we're not done with this, and he goes and gets Cap out of the ice because he hasn't been brought out yet. That was like the same timing, and he also has Captain Marvel show up right at the last minute.
Both Caps.
Yeah, both Caps. Good call. And that was not Brie Larson.
Okay.
I'll say.
It wasn't.
I knew it. Thank you. Appreciate the help on that. We didn't get an Agent Hill in this one.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about her.
But anyway, that's the whole story. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to talk about, for sure. Because, you're just talking about the major Avengers just dying.
Yeah. Might give us your rating off of
our review.
It did sound better than the first one by far.
Not even close. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, that was strategy opening up with that really bad episode.
Should you open up with a really good one so you get people hooked to watch more?
They should just all be good.
That too.
T'Challa might have been a better Star-Lord than
Peter Quill.
Peter Quill. So I could see like Andy. It's pretty close. But your excitement,
Yeah,
I could tell you're starting to really like this.
I know.
Because you were very into retelling it, and now I think after you retold the story that you just did, I think you like it even more.
Have we been doing? We did ratings. We can go around.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, why don't you give us any final thoughts? But then you can end with your rating.
Yeah.
Anything we missed?
Like
too.
I said, I mean, this was just a great nostalgia throwback. Like if you can even have nostalgia right now with this, because there's so
It
much
is,
going on.
though.
But like, yeah, there's just something about it that like brought me back to like the beginning.
Yeah.
To where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have a podcast in 10 years where I talk about these things.
Yeah, right. It's perfect time. And then like you're so right. You're rewatching. You felt like you were in those movies again.
Yeah.
That's what was cool. What do you rate this one?
3.2.
I'm also a 3.2. And
We hang out too much.
yeah, for sure. This is why we need Mike to weigh in sometimes. But maybe you'll watch it eventually. But
I'm gonna give it a 3 after you retold it.
just based on you give my tell of it a 3.
Yeah.
That's a compliment. That's a real compliment.
I like how you switch it up and save the Hulk for last because that was the coolest one.
By far the coolest one. I did not see that coming of
It was-
like him using the disc to grow the heart. Like I could have seen him like going in and just like getting bigger, but it was such a specific like that was like a murder, you know. But it's still, I'm gonna be honest too. That's a good rating because it's. I feel like, again, you start off with something kind of low, and you're like you can't help but look back and be like it's way better, but it still feels just a little strange. It's just a weird show.
Yeah.
It's just I've never seen a show like this.
It would kind of be cool if we went back and rated each one based on the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like throw out other things that we can compare this to
Yep.
and just rate
What it
the
is.
show 1 through what is it 9,
I think there's gonna be 9 episodes.
and
So
then like give a score. Like if it's the best one, it's a 3.9.
Yeah.
because it can't be perfect in my mind.
These
Yeah,
are hard to
nothing's
rate.
perfect, yeah.
These are hard to rate. I'm not comparing them to other movies when I do my rating.
I'm not.
rating for
I'm
this,
trying-
'cause
yeah,
it's-
I'm trying
that's too
to-
hard.
What are you comparing them to? You think?
Almost just each other. I
Each
guess.
other.
I don't know.
Okay.
Each other, and then like I
But wasn't the last episode a 3.2 for us?
It might have been.
It might have been.
So
but,
if you're comparing
but
it-
I think, but I would argue that like
I know we don't write this stuff down, so somebody.
so there's a lot of nostalgia with this.
Yeah.
And with the Star-Lord T'Challa, there's not as much because Guardians of the Galaxy is only like a little percentage, and so is Black Panther.
Mhm.
Like these are the Avengers.
Yeah.
And there are 4 Avenger films.
Picked up the wrong boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. This is like, oh, Tony Stark's dead in 1 minute. Like it was just kind of wild. But if you just compare these as like the 2 episodes next to each other, I agree that they're probably about the same in quality. Like
Maybe
they're
that's
fun.
Maybe that's why they didn't pay Robert Downey Jr. an insane amount of money to have however
Yeah.
many lines.
I agree.
Yeah, they're like we could pay him $10 million for 10 minutes, or we could pay Bobby Ronnie Senior
100K.
some generic brand Robert Downey Jr. to just read his one line.
Great value, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, like Will, like that's what Will did. He had that from Bussin' with the Boys. Oh yeah, you want to plug your hat real quick?
It was a cool hat. I'll
Got a
flip it
cool hat
around.
from fellow pod out there. One of my childhood best friends, Will Compton, Taylor Lewan over on Bussin' with the Boys. You got some merch, huh?
I did.
Looks
I love
fresh.
this hat. So I'll tell a quick story. The other day,
Go ahead.
Will posted a tweet video that was like, spend $69 in the store. First 12 people get this free hat. And I really just wanted the hat.
Yeah.
And I was within thought I was within like 5 minutes of the tweet coming out. So I was like, I'll buy some shit real quick, whatever.
Yeah.
They have good stuff. Bought it. I was fiddling around with PayPal too much, maybe, and I sent the email off to him. Evidently I wasn't one of the first 12 people. So I bought stuff and I ended up not even getting the thing that I really wanted. So,
Well, the first 12, that's not that many.
but how many people are spending $70 on this site? Like,
I mean,
Clearly enough.
yeah, I
They
know.
got like 100,000 followers or something.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
You're
they're
right.
like they blow.
And it's-
I mean, well, they're Barstool.
Yeah, Barstool's got
I was
that.
like 5 minutes. I can be quick, and I fucked up.
Well, you look fresh in the hat.
Thank you.
Looks good. They're gonna appreciate the support. Yeah, Bussin' with the Boys. If you're into football, if you're into buses, it's a good podcast for you.
Or you just
Or
like,
Budweiser. They're Budweiser and Chevy. Those are big like brands that work with them. So
Is it still
that's-
Budweiser?
It might not be with
don't
the. It might not be since they signed on with Barstool. You
Yep.
might be right. Yeah, I need to watch my words. Will be like, hey, watch those sponsorships.
no free ads.
yeah,
free
no,
ads.
yeah, no
No,
free.
but they have
shout-outs.
good. They have great
Great guests.
interviews and stuff like that too. It's just not just football. They have all kinds of people on from
They-
all kinds of ranges.
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
He's a big Washington Redskins fan, though.
You mean the Washington football team?
Yeah, but he's a Redskins. Grew up a Redskins fan.
All right, man. What if episode 3? We saw it. We watched it. It was fun. And we'll keep talking about these. 6 to go for the rest of the summer, and we'll keep talking about it. And you can find this review along with all of the other MCU titles we've done in our MCU library, mostlysuperheroes.com/MCU. Made some major updates to the website recently. We have categories on the site now, starting to make some buckets of stuff. So we got MCU, DCU, we got the music show. Fast and the Furious will be one category. I'm going to start breaking those out. I've decided I'm going to break up that one episode when we talked about every movie, and they're just going to be individual clips. So you're going to be able to have the whole Fast and Furious franchise in there. And then anything else we start identifying as a group of movies or something, we'll just keep adding to the list.
I love it. Categories, baby.
That's right. Go check it out. Upgrades happen all the time. We feature fans on there. You can subscribe, access to the Patreon page. But of course, importantly, go find our reviews, connections, and help you watch all of this crazy MCU madness because it's kind of hard to keep track of, and we're going to help you out.